Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube video segment, I want to talk about NBA team. You may have heard of them, the Golden State Warriors. They have made some noise lately, and they have since last season. This team is on a phenomenal run, to say the least. They recently set the NBA record for most wins to start the season without losing, and it's the best start in NBA history as far as not being unblemished and not losing a game. 16-0, and they capped it off by annihilating the Lakers at home the other night. And the thing about it is they didn't succumb to pressure of that night. I think Kobe Bryant of the Lakers only made like one field goal. I think he was either 1 for 13 or 1 for 14. I'm going off on a tangent here, but I think Kobe Bryant may need to retire this season as well as Peyton Manning. But anyway, the Golden State Warriors, led by Steph Curry, is leading the NBA in points per game, 32.1 right now. This team has virtually no weaknesses. They're number one in points per game right now, 114.3. Going back to last season, I believe it's 20 consecutive regular season wins they have. And if you go back to the finals from last season, they have 19 consecutive victories. So these are all mind-boggling numbers right now. And you see the team also, they're number 10 in points allowed per game, at least what the last I had checked this, and this was just maybe a couple days ago or so, the last day or two. But that when I had looked at this recently, they were at number 10 as far as points allowed, and that was 98.7. So the defense is playing very well at the same time. And they have, and as far as their three-point percentage is 4-10 right now, one of the best in the league. And shooting 41% from three-point land is like shooting over 60% from two-point territory based on your point production. So really, these numbers are preposterous. This is a team that doesn't have to worry about a complacency. It seems like they bring their passion and their hunger on a consistent night-to-night or day-to-day basis, depending on whether they're playing afternoon or night, I guess. And really, they're also number one in point differential, 15.6. 11 of their victories have come by double digits. Now, there's been some speculation as to whether they could attain the all-time best regular season NBA record, which of course is held by the 1995-96 Chicago Bulls, who finished 72-10. I think it's attainable, but I don't think they're going to get that. There was I believe it was a coach of the Golden State Warriors recently had stated that they're not trying to attain this record. They just want to make sure that they're going to have people healthy for when the postseason comes. So naturally, I would imagine they're going to try to get the number one seed, because that would give them assurance of home field advantage throughout the postseason. And the way they're going, I think it's fairly safe to say they will get that. Now, what record do I think they're going to finish at? I want to say maybe 68. I'm going to say 69-13 will be the Golden State Warriors record at the end of this season. And I think they'll come close to catching those 95-96 Chicago Bulls, but I think they're going to fall short just a little bit. I mean, this wear and tear and people have to realize that when you start out and you win 16, your first 16 games, you win, the energy that is expended in doing so, and the fact that a number of these games they have subjugated opponents. They haven't, as I stated before, 11 of those wins by double digits. Now, there's also talk and speculation as to when will they lose their first game. Well, we know they're going to lose at some point. You don't have to be a prophet or medium to know that. But some people think that, as far as the analysts think they might lose the game It's going to be their next game at Phoenix. I think they'll win that game. I think if I had to pick one, which I think that they may lose, it would be their 21st game of the season, and that would be at Toronto. Because they beat Toronto earlier this year. That was at Golden State, and it was by 5 points. 5-point victory at home. It tells me that Toronto gave them one of their biggest battles this season, and I could see where it'd be conceivable for them to lose that game at Toronto. I'm going to predict that the Warriors will win 4 more games before going down, and I'm going to predict that it will be at Toronto, and that will be they'll be 20-1 after that game. That will be their first loss, I believe. But this is a team, obviously, to be reckoned with. There was something on ESPN the other day where they said they were going to be favored for a pretty good time, I believe, for at least the next few months or so, until they were going to play San Antonio. I think that was at San Antonio. I'm not sure. I just remember it being San Antonio, but I would imagine that would be at San Antonio. And really, a juggernaut team probably could compete with the great teams of the past. Many of you may know there's a website called whatifsports.com where you could actually play simulated matchups against teams from the past and pit them against present teams. So that's something to look into if you want to do that. If you want to, for example, put the 95-96 Bulls against this year's Warriors team, or the Warriors team that won the NBA title last season, the 2014-15 season, or put them against Charles Barkley's team he was talking about would beat the Warriors, then you could do that. I believe Charles Barkley was referring to the Phoenix Suns. I'm not 100% on that. Phoenix Suns, perhaps the one that lost to the Chicago Bulls in the 1993 NBA Finals. But anyway, it's always good to have that speculation, conjecture, and it's a good topic for debate as far as the greatest NBA team of all time. But obviously, this team has a long way to go because we're not even 25% into the NBA season yet. Well, anyway, people, this is Edwin Learnard, and until next time, stay well.